I love how Psycho my boy is. He just always is popping up in the most unlikely scenarios, and you just know next week's Jujutsu Kaisen episode's gonna be insane. We're literally ending the episode with Megumi and the gang, like this kind of one shot. The enemy's rushing towards us, it's looking frantic, and then he has to pop in and crash the party. But what an episode. I mean, the biggest praise I'll give to this JJK episode is the sound direction, both on the music side, but also the sound effects. Like, honestly, watching with headphones, episodes like these really pop off. Like, the music's pretty self-explanatory, it gets you vibing, gets you moving. Sometimes they're cutting off this amazing song, I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, I was really getting into that, and then they pop in an even better song right after. But it's just the way swords will clash, or just the individual, like, metal sound effects that don't feel like they're stock sound directions. Like, no, like, this is all really well crafted, and man, this was a tight episode. A full live reaction to this week's JJK episode over on my Patreon if you would like to see that. It's over there if you're interested. Now, this was exciting. I mean, they kickstart the episode off showing where our girl's been up to. I mean, I forgot about this, to be honest, because like it looked like that was going to be important, then they kind of just shifted over and did some different things, but it was nice seeing how she was dealing with her situation. And I mean, this boy was ready to die for her. You know, whatever, Nissan, whatever you want, I'll do it for you. You want me to risk my life? Absolutely. But you gotta admit, they are a powerhouse duo, because by removing her own kind of aura, just letting him be the complete focus as she comes in, I mean, this fool got his arm sliced off and then got just a bird projectile through his entire stomach. Really cool moment. And of course, you know, setting up Ghetto, like, or imposter Ghetto, big old fight. Of course, they're gonna blue balls us and cut it off, but they more than made up for it for what we got with Nanami. I mean, Zenin, this boy's a badass. You have to admit, like, at first I wasn't sure why the hell he was bothering talking about frames per second and animation and giving some cultural lessons. This poor bastard, I mean, not really poor bastard, but if we remove our own emotional attachment to this series, you have this, like, a demon-like beast basically talking about how the people you kill have a name. Like, this is like his family and his friends. And he's talking about, like, do you know why, like, interpolation happens? And just, like, there's just such a disconnect. The disrespect is fantastic. But you have to admit, the fact that when you go with, you have Nanami, you have first grades not being able to, like, one-shot or take this thing out. Like, it sets the stage that this is going to be a built different fight, and a built different fight it lived up to be. Maki was incorporated, Megumi had to be incorporated, and just the fact that at one point, they don't even, like, really make it that important, at least to the character that you would think it would be. It's just a smart-ass remark that basically, well, you took away one of my arms. This thing's got 71 years of history. You best know you're gonna pay for that. But there's no ouchie, that hurt. No, it's just simply, bitch, you gonna pay. And, like, that's what's, like, fantastic, is that even seeing Nanami, or seeing any of these characters who we've recently seen either do such badass things that you think, damn, like, they're just one-shotting fools, seeing them bloody, cut apart, or, you know, surviving things that should absolutely annihilate them, the fact that they're walking this off like it's nothing, or that they know they can do this, only for the episode to unexpectedly end in a way that you're like, what does this mean? Is he just gonna deal with this thing so that then you can fight him? Does he want to work together for the laws? Who the hell knows, right? Like, there's just such an uncertainty about what's going on, but I can understand so easily why this has been such a hyped up arc for so many. I mean, the visual direction that they went for once they got into the domain was really cool, because at first I didn't really know what was happening. It's just like, oh, we're on vacation now. Sure, I mean, if the enemy wants to throw me on a pleasant looking beach, I mean, I'll definitely take that over some hellforsaken graveyard. But very quickly we see that, like, yeah, there's only one person who's able to not get really hit here, and that person now has the biggest target on his head. And what do we see happen? Well, he loses his arm at one point. But it was really cool how they use this such, like, a bright, poppy, vibrant scene to have such horror monstrosities swarm at us in every which angle. And just to see the teamwork, see the cooperation, the fact that, like, we go from just an episode or two back thinking characters like Nanami, I mean, like, look at what they're doing, like, they are a one-man army, but we see we need all hands on deck. We need as many people as we can get. Even if some of our people are half drunk and the other half aren't really qualified to be here, as we can clearly see, we need all the hands we can get, because we're getting our asses kicked. But at the same time, we are managing some W's, but damn, do those W's feel farther and farther between the last one. But that's how a good author does this, right? They give us those victories to make it feel like we're not completely helpless. There is possibilities to win. But it constantly reminds you that if like stuff like this pushes our shit in, or stuff like last week, how the hell are we actually going to deal with Imposter Ghetto, and how many of these characters aren't making it out of this arc alive? It's just, it ain't looking good, especially when we're losing limbs. Main characters are getting obliterated, badasses are getting sealed away and, I guess, enjoying vacation, and then other badasses are getting cut apart. But this was absolutely exciting. The brilliant thing about this season is even like knowing some of the behind the scenes drama that happened with this season of Jujutsu Kaisen, just the absolute level of passion that comes across in just so many moments. Like Maki, like when they had like all the water kind of flow in, the way she jumped onto her weapon so that she would avoid it. There's just all these like little attention to detail animation moments that just really feel quite expressive. And the way they shift styles, I mean, you can look at the start of the episode. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who felt this, but anyone who watched season 2 of Vinland Saga, when Thorfinn was having nightmares and kind of feeling trapped in hell, there were scenes where he was trying to like climb out of hell and there was all these like corpses that he left behind that was trying to get to him. The very quick moment at the start of the episode, it gave me a very similar direction vibes, and I thought it worked really well given the graveyard aesthetic we were going for. And honestly, like, there's so many fights or scenes that I watch over the past month or so of this arc, and I say, if they didn't go as hard as they just did, either with art direction, sound direction, great music placement, the voice actors just giving it their all, would it have ruined the scene? No, I probably would have still enjoyed the scene for what it is, but it's like they're trying their damnedest to give it that extra refinement that you normally see in a movie, and just it's working wonders to make this arc pop out. And it's not simply because manga readers are telling us to get out of our chair and jump for this moment. No, like, yeah, we get excited and hope it's going to be that exciting, but it's really because the episodes are actually that fantastic that it feels like collectively both sides, the source readers and the anime originals, are shaking hands saying absolutely hip hip hooray, because this should be absolutely exciting. I mean, literally I have no idea where we go, because of course we have this big cliffhanger, but at the same time there's so many different stories at play. They could kickstart next week's episode and focus back on Yuji for most of it, or they could go back to the imposter ghetto fight. We have no idea, but there's a lot of things happening. And if anything, I say this episode definitely makes it feel like, you know what, even if characters aren't necessarily qualified to be here, all hands on deck. We need as many sorcerers as we can get, because goddamn, even the best of the best are getting quite wounded. But let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more JJK to the channel. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon if you're interested, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Mig021, Jaxo23, James Wright, Flippy Napkins, Gareth Green, and Durberg Jude. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.